Hey, what's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? Hey, let me know what the stream look like. StreamYard is telling me that the feed might be choppy. So give me a one if everything is good on your end. Let me share this video real quick. I'm gonna get right to it. All right. All right, Kyle Miles Bob said it's good. Okay. I don't know what the technical difficulty is, but I'm gonna let a few more people come back, get up in here, and then we're gonna get rocking and rolling. All right. Hey, what's good with y'all? This is the Walker Bar for Black Authentic Truth. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me all the time. What I will say is I may be late, but I'm in the building. All right. So usually I go a little earlier, been busy, had to move this weekend, and a lot of other things going on. Of course, a lot of things going on in the world. Was out there yesterday in Los Angeles, No King's Day. We're going to get into that. Of course, Iran, Israel, and a lot of other things that's going on in the world. There's so much stuff is going on in the world right now that it is hard to keep up with what is going down in the world. And let me just express this to you. Black, brown, whoever you are, right? We is in the last days. You can see what was happening in the world, that we are at the end of this rulership. And some of y'all probably don't understand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the kingdom that you know that is the ruling kingdom right now is on its last leg. You know how a chair can lose a leg? You ever seen a dog with three legs? Well, America, the world is looking like it is on its last leg. Okay. So what I want to get into, I'm gonna get this video, this particular story. We get this particular story with Israel and Iran. Okay, for the last 3 days, they've been bombing each other back to back. And I believe the prime minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, he hopped on a plane and went to Greece. Now he is adamant on, uh, you know, dropping bombs, and if you pay attention to him, he is very adamant, very how can I say, determined to obliterate the Palestinians after October. What was it? October 10th, October 12th, when hostages was taken out of Israel at a concert or whatnot. And since then, they've been bombing the Palestinians to the Stone Age. Okay. And so he done fled to Greece. Now he over there talking big talk, tough talk, and then left his people and went to Greece, something in a whole nother country where he can't be touched. All right. But anyway, let's get this. Let me get this video. Let me get this clip. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with me. Kyle Mosboff, Renee Gaines, Deandra, Ron Coleman, Shout out to all of y'all. All right. And Martina Trujillo. I hope I'm saying that right. All right. So let me get this this news clip.
Iran has now launched more missiles toward Israel. This morning, the IDF says sirens are sounding off in Jerusalem, warning people there to take shelter. Also, we're getting a first look at devastation in Bat Yam, Israel. This is a seaside town that is about 8 miles or 20 minutes drive south of Tel Aviv, and it was hit by Iranian missiles overnight. 6 people in an apartment building were killed. One neighbor who survived says they don't want any of this.
I think that both sides are pretty much tired of the situation. I think it's the governments and the people that are in power that really want the war to continue. We have hostages. We don't want this war. We didn't start this war. We want it to end.
Emergency crews are still searching through rubble to find missing people. Meantime, on Truth Social, President Trump said the United States was not involved in the Israeli strikes in Iran overnight and said Washington would respond with overwhelming force if Iran responded to Israeli attacks by attacking the United States. The Iranian foreign minister addressed those comments during a meeting in Tehran this morning, saying he does not believe these claims, adding that a private message is not enough and that the U.S. needs to condemn Israel's attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities. In the Middle East, Iran.
So President Trump put out a tweet or whatever saying that America had nothing to do with this. And Iran is saying you got to go public and condemn them shooting missiles at us. What people are going to find out is that Iran is not Palestine, that they have nuclear weapons too. They have backing too. You understand? And so Trump is trying to get up out of it, but at the same time giving threats, saying that you don't want to see the force we're going to hit you with if you try to retaliate on America. The thing about this is that this is what's happening in the Middle East right now is biblical. This is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? And all of these nations that are in this conflict, that are going to get pulled into this conflict, will bring about World War III. And this is something that is actually has been spoken about in prophecies thousands of years old. And so my thing is, where is all of the prophecies out of the Book of the Dead? Where are all the prophecies out of the Quran? Where is the prophecies that were written thousands of years ago that speak about all of these nations in these lands today coming together in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East, for world war? You won't be able to find it. A lot of people, they say, you know, the Bible ain't real. It ain't that. Like, I mean, it's right there. You can't open any records of the Egyptians and find future prophecies. And that's another reason why I say, when people say, when I hear a black person say the white man wrote the Bible, I'm like, you giving them too much credit, because what you're saying is that white people are prophets and they can tell the future. That's what you're actually saying. You're giving them too much credit. You know what I mean? But this is a time for black people, brown people, for people in general to get it together. You better get some supplies. And the beautiful thing about the organization that I'm a part of, the ISUPK under Commander Junior Hanna, the beautiful thing about that is that for the last 10 years that I've been around, that's what we've been doing, preparing, getting food, getting supplies for emergencies, having rally points with your brothers. You understand? Because let's just say missiles start to hit America. There will be no Instagram. There will be no Facebook. There will be no live stream. There will be no form of communication. So what are you going to do? What plan do you have? What do you believe in? That's a better question. What do you believe in? You believe in man, you believe in yourself. You believe in, a lot, you hear black people say the ancestors, or you believe in yourself, or you believe in the universe, or whatever the case may be. These people believe in their arms. These other nations, they believe in their warfare, straight up and down. But anyway, this just shows you that we're getting closer and closer to an all-out world war. So instead of paying attention to, fights and, what's the celebrity drama, as Black people, you need to be paying attention to what's going on in the world. I know that it is very hard, especially coming from where we come from, to be serious about paying attention about what's going on in the world, where you trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills, and you stress out over little small things that, lock you into a short-sightedness where you don't really see the big picture of things. But that's why you have people like me to, lay it down flat for you. So keep an eye on that. Okay. Now, my first story, what I was going to talk about was Father's Day. And it's funny that I haven't celebrated holidays in forever. And Father's Day, look, it's like any other day. I don't celebrate holidays. I don't celebrate European holidays. I don't celebrate the holidays of the people of the nation that oppressed my people, my ancestors. I used to do it. I grew up like that, like all Black people grow up celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, all of it, birthdays, all of it. But when I learned the truth, I was like, damn, wow, like none of this stuff even matters. I'm not saying we can't celebrate and party and have a good time, but when it comes to doing it the way that the people that enslaved my ancestors do it, I just can't do it, right? And I'll say the same thing for Father's Day. In fact, Father's Day don't even really get, I'm gonna be real with you. Part of the reason why I didn't really know Father's Day was coming is because the world doesn't put too much emphasis on it. They don't go all out with the commercials and, the advertisements and stuff like that. So it's not, pushed like Mother's Day is pushed. Mother's Day is really pushed, you know what I mean? But Father's Day fall in the same line as Mother's Day. If you really love your father, you would express your love to your father at any day. You would have told your father, okay, I give you a week. You would have told your father a week ago how much you love him. No, maybe that's too close, because I say you would have told your father 2 months ago you loved him, would have popped up with a gift or said, hey, Pops, let's go out. I'm going to take you out to dinner or something like that. You know what I mean? If you're doing something to show love and gratitude to a person that's in your life on a day like this, it's showing that it's really not genuine love, because the only reason you're doing it is because everybody is doing it. Like, it never crossed your mind to just randomly do it, spontaneously do it, just when you felt like it. You thought to do it when the whole world or America is doing it. Everybody in America is doing it. That's what all the holidays, that's how I feel about it. But, when it comes to Father's Day, it's like, it's not even on my radar, and who cares? But I can't remember, like back in the day, like I said, you don't really too much hear about Father's Day. It's not as big as Mother's Day is for whatever reason. But we know this society, American society, caters more to the woman than the father. You know what I mean? And that's just off of observation, just growing up from what I've seen. But yeah, Father's Day, whatever it is, Father's Day, Mother's Day, hell, even if they had Grandparents' Day, whatever the day may be, like, don't wait till that day to start saying, oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate my moms. I appreciate my father. Like, it's not real genuine love. It's just to show everybody else that you did something for your mother. Yes, it's going to make your mother feel like she's on the top of the world, and your father appreciated and all of that, but it's not genuine love. And, that's something that we need to get in our head. First, that's what we need to get in our head. Secondly, it's not even a holiday that our ancestors, participated in. For me, the fact that, I can see my children, the fact that my children are in good health, things like that. I appreciate that type of stuff every day. And I'm sure my children appreciate me every day. I'm sure my rib appreciates me every day. They don't even have to say it. I know it. You know what I'm saying? I know my presence alone as a man, as a black father, and around. I feel the appreciation. And today I would be like, okay, but the logic behind it is what I said. It's not genuine. All right. Let me get to the next clip. So no King's Day. Donald Trump wanted to have a big parade for his birthday. I think what Donald Trump wanted to do is something like what they do in North Korea, where it's elaborate and you have all the soldiers. I think they boast like they have 1 million foot soldiers probably in that parade. And the synchronization of the soldiers, they're marching, they're walking, is just perfect, especially from an aerial view. But Donald Trump's parade, no one even showed up for it, right? No one showed up for it, and people came out all over the United States to protest. This was just all people of all nationalities and races came out to protest against Donald Trump. No King's Day, right? And so me and my brothers was in downtown Los Angeles yesterday. And of course, I got some sights. I seen some things. Let me play this clip. Play this news clip. All right.
For protesting this parade in Washington, D.C. We have our Alex Perche on the ground in Washington, D.C., Ika Jachi right here in New York City, and Alex Stone in downtown Los Angeles. Alex Perche, you're just feet away from the route where a different scene is taking place. Describe to us what you're hearing from protesters against this parade, but then also the administration at this hour.
Yeah, well, Morgan, so what you're looking at right now, I mean, it's the tail end of the largest.
So that's Washington, D.C. I'm going to scrub up through the video. New York City. And let me get to Los Angeles. They had the last reporter in Los Angeles. In L.A., let's get it.
Yeah, Morgan, they're all over the downtown area. In case things do get out of control tonight, most of the marches have now ended for today. Everybody's kind of come here outside of City Hall. You can see people are on top of the bus coverings there and really packed into this area. But at one point, firefighters and the LAPD believe there are around 20,000 people who were here in the downtown area, to the point where it was so busy that they were saying, look, if you have a medical emergency, firefighters and paramedics won't be able to get in. Things are calming down right now. No big incidents here. It's been more like a street fair at times as people have been dancing and they've had live bands and that sort of thing beginning to wrap up here now. The worry.
That's exactly what I seen yesterday. When I was out there, what I seen, it felt like a circus. You had dancing, you had, people selling things, mascots, people in costumes, people wearing alien masks. It was like pandemonium as far as like the level of seriousness. I didn't feel no level of seriousness, right, in that protest. And I'm just saying that in general, but I'm gonna play a video. I put together a little clip, some little footage that I got yesterday. So let me play that real quick. One more. Hey, what's good, man? Listen, man. Get up, brother. Gracias. Yeah. Now that was some of the footage that I got. Of course, you've seen all type of people. Of course, white people, LGBTQ, I mean, the list goes on and on of the different organizations that was out there. Of course, Black and brown, Hispanic brothers out there, Mexican flags, all of that. You heard the chant in the beginning, F Donald Trump. People was really on that type of time at that, yesterday. A huge police presence, National Guards, all of that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it wasn't really serious. And I thought to myself, that's usually how protests are. Protests really don't do anything as far as being effective. It's a show of it's a show of people being upset at policies or injustices. But in the big picture, protesting is something that is encouraged in America. You have a right to protest. And even in the Black community, protests don't really, fix the issues that we are upset about. Now, I remember being out there during the George Floyd riots in Los Angeles. We was out there with brown berets. We were in different parts of Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, downtown, and you had everybody in it. So when you have a protest, you take the strength out the protest if you're going to have people, from this faction, from LGBTQ, from this, everybody is standing for something else, for something different. And so it weakens your overall protest, if that makes sense. But what I was going to say, I wanted to talk about the ICE fallout. That leads me to talking about the ICE fallout, the ICE raids. Let me remove this. The ICE raids with Black people and brown people. Now, the last week or so, 2 weeks, probably, if you want to look at it like that, Black people have been expressing that they're standing down. They're standing down because Mexicans are racist. Mexican people are racist towards Black people. This is something that I think should foster a good conversation. And so what I thought and what my brother thought, we're going to have conversations like that amongst ourselves with our brown brothers. But I think here on Black Authentic Truth would be a good idea for brothers and sisters, whether you're Mexican or Puerto Rican, particularly Mexican, right? And Black brothers to come on the platform, and we can do it on a live stream, and we can air out our differences as Black and brown people, and talk about what makes you feel, or how you were raised to think about Black people, or how you were raised to think about Mexican people. Just talking to some of my brothers, I see a lot of similarities in how we're raised. We're raised with a racial prejudice towards one another in our own households, which this is something that don't get spoken about a lot at all anyway. Another thing is that when you look at, the history between Black and brown, there's a rich history between us. And at one point in time, it's like we all knew who the oppressor was, but now it seems like we're just fighting for scraps, and we're trying to, air out each other instead of looking at how did we get to this point? Like in everything, like when I talk about, or when they talk about, the crime that Black people do, the things that Black people do, Black people didn't just start off dysfunctional just because. Black people are just not natural born criminals just because. You know what I'm saying? We're not living in the ghetto. We're not, impoverished just because we want to be there, or we want that as a group. I'm not saying individual. I'm speaking in general as a group. You have to look at history and see, how did we get here? What are the things that got us here? Like, you don't look at nobody, and you don't look at a millionaire as the end result and say, well, he was a millionaire. You got to look at the history of why is he a millionaire? What did he do? What steps did he take? Did he go to college? Did he go to school? Is he an entrepreneur? Was the wealth handed down? Did it just come down to him? How did he get to be a millionaire? The same as with a homeless person. How did they get to be a homeless person? There's a history behind that. It ain't just, they just came, grew up and said, hey, I want to be a homeless person. There's a woman that's on a pole, a stripper. She didn't grow up and want to be a stripper. You have to look at the history of what did she go through? How was she raised in her house to make her think that that was okay? Did somebody molest her? Did somebody touch her? How did her mind get so demented to think that this is the way? Why does a brother think that he should sell drugs? This is the only way to make it. How did he get that mind state? How was he raised? What did he see? So it's the same goes with black and brown relation. You know what I mean? As far as how you have this racial tension, and it's always been that. Now, I've seen a lot of black people online talking about, what they heard in California, what they heard, how Mexicans treat black people in LA. You can't go off what you heard. You got to go off of what you know. And so I would ask those same black people, what is your personal experience with Mexicans? Because I got a lot of personal experiences, good and bad. The same as with black people. I got a lot of good and bad experiences that shaped, how I looked at my people. So what I think is this would foster a good conversation. Some brothers come online, come on to Black Authentic Truth, and some Mexican brothers come on Black Authentic Truth and have a discussion on the differences in how we're raised in our households and how we feel about one another. Because at the end of the day, we got to this point because of oppression. You know what I mean? And it seems like black people, we got a lot of energy right now you see so many black people making videos right now about they don't love us, they don't care for us, they racist towards us, and we have a lot of energy. I haven't seen this much energy probably since the last protest, George Floyd protest. Black people didn't have this much energy for Michael Brooks, the brother that got unalive. He got beat on camera by correctional officers in prison, and then the next day he died. You didn't even see a protest from black people over that. And one brother was telling me yesterday, he said, you know what? This is a brother that's been locked up, as myself also. He said, I don't think people really care about you when you locked up like that. It's different when you're a free person and you get locked up. But most people look at it like, well, he probably was in there because he did something wrong. He probably deserved it. You know what I mean? But I don't want to lose my train of thought. Getting back to what I wanted to talk about. Well, I already said it, but the energy that we're using right now, we can use that energy, that fallback energy, like, we gonna do other things and mind our business. That energy we need for a lot of things in the black community. We need to talk about black people selling drugs to other black people. We need to talk about black women being on stripper poles and, highly sexualized and showing their bodies on the internet and Instagram and OnlyFans and all of that. We need to talk about, the abortion rate in our community. There's a host of problems that we got right in our community. Like, we need to talk about all the missing black girls in our community. That energy could be used for that right now. We could really, as we're telling Mexicans, we're not getting in that fight. We're saving our energy and we standing down. Let's use that energy for something to benefit our people, or should I say black people, because there's a host of things going on and we can bring light to it. You can see from social media, you don't need celebrities to speak about something to bring light to it. That's obvious in the last week. You don't need a celebrity. You don't need nobody that's popular or nothing. All you need to do is care. Like we care about all these other things that we feel we're all in our emotions about. Get emotional about missing black women. Get emotional about black people selling drugs to one another. Get emotional about black people hating one another. Use some energy for that. Am I wrong? Use some energy for that. We got a lot of energy for a lot of things, but it's never the thing that's going to fix us. It's never the thing that is going to change the trajectory in where we're going. It's never that thing. We got a lot of energy to almost big up young black men behaving in a criminal way. YNs. You see, everybody got a voice on social media, and you cannot listen to everybody. Social media is like school. You got some slow kids, you got some smart kids, you got some kids in between. But everybody is on social media and everybody is posting something and saying something as though it is valid. Everybody has something to say and has a voice, but what are the solutions to these problems? What is the solution? Everybody has something to say about what is going on with this, what is going on with that, but nobody has a real solution. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So the solution to the problems that we have, you can see we have the power right now with social media in your personal platform to speak out about these issues in the Black community. Take the energy that we use to be highly emotional and to express ourselves and be in our feelings online all the time. Take that and get in your feelings about fixing your people. I'm off of it. All right. I'm off of that. Now let's get to the Minnesota. There's a clip with an assassination that happened yesterday too. And I guess, we'll guess who was the culprit. They say that he pretended to be a police officer and killed some Democratic lawmakers. Shot two, they survived, and then shot another husband and wife, and they didn't survive. Let me get this.
2 hours and counting now since the tragedy unfolded for two Minnesota lawmakers and their families. We continue to follow the latest of what Governor Tim Walz has called from the very start a politically motivated assassination of Speaker Emeritus Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, along with the attempted assassination of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Here's a timeline of how this first day yesterday unfolded. It all started around 2 o'clock Saturday morning when a 911 call was made in Champlin. Police responded to Senator John Hoffman's home and found he and his wife Yvette had been shot. Both were rushed to the hospital and underwent surgery. Then about an hour and a half later, Brooklyn Park Police proactively went to check on Representative Melissa Hortman's home. There they found a man dressed as an officer with a fake police vehicle. The suspect shot at officers and ran away. By 5:30 a.m., a shelter-in-place alert was sent out by Brooklyn Park Police telling anyone within a 3-mile radius of the Edinburgh Golf Course to stay in their homes. At about 6 o'clock Saturday morning, the suspect stopped by a home near 49th and Fremont in Minneapolis, where residents say he rented a room. Security cameras capturing new images of the suspect dressed in casual clothing with a cowboy hat.
We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota.
At 9:45, Governor Tim Walz announced that Representative Hortman and her husband Mark were both killed in what he's calling a politically motivated assassination. At 11 o'clock, authorities and the governor urging people to not attend any scheduled rallies until after the suspect is in custody. An hour and a half later, officials in Champlin said there was no current threat to the public. Then by 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, the Associated Press identified the suspect as 57-year-old Vance Luther Belter. The scene at the Hoffman's home in Champlin was cleared by 1:30. Around 1:45, the Minneapolis home where Belter rented a room was searched by investigators. Then by 3 p.m., authorities confirmed Belter as a suspect in the case and asked for the public's help in locating him. At 3:20, nearly 12 hours after officers first encountered Belter, Brooklyn Park authorities lifted the shelter-in-place order, believing he is out of that immediate area around the Hortman home. At 3:50, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner confirms both Melissa and Mark Hortman died of multiple gunshot wounds. It was around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon the FBI announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Belter. By 9 p.m. Saturday night, family members confirm Yvette Hoffman is awake and alert. More than 32 hours.
Now, that's the usual suspect. No one is really running this story like this. And they're saying it's a politically motivated assassination. He was a Trump supporter. They put that out there. I seen somewhere where he was also a preacher, a Christian. Oh, that's a surprise. That's a surprise. A Christian taking the life of someone. America is built off of Christianity, and they had slaves. They had chattel slaves. Not a surprise at all. But this is who you got to profile. You know what I mean? This is, what did they say? I think the metric is white men between the ages of like 18 and 60, well, he fell right in that statistic, in that category. And of course, it's politically motivated. So, this is looked at like it could have also been a hit. It could also be that. But this is the level of hatred and words that are how can I say, when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, this is the level of hatred they be having between one another. Those words that they throw at one another, those insults that they throw at one another. And it's crazy because it's like they are so in tune and locked in, like white Democrats and like white Republicans, is that when there's an issue like this, they saying, oh, he was a Democrat. They don't even see that he's white. You know what I'm saying? Like black people, like we looking like he's white, or we knew he wasn't a black person. They like that don't even matter. He's a Democrat. Come to find out he's a Republican. Democrats and Republicans is like Crips and Bloods. If you didn't know, that's what it's like. It's like Crips and Bloods. You know what I mean? People forget that they had a civil war. You know what I mean? People forget that, that's where it will go with these people. They will literally stalk you, find out where you live, and take you out. I'm off of it. Let me get this one now. I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers. This next video. Let me get this. Because you know what? We all about Big Smoke.
Say it one more time now.
I just need you to put that out while you're still in the building.
So I can go back and watch the movie?
No, that's a big no-no, man. Come on. You're smoking a blunt in the theater?
Hell yeah.
That's crazy, bro. You can't do that.
It's like my third time doing it, though.
Oh, you cannot do that here, man.
It's like my third time.
Yeah, we don't even allow vaping. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen something like this.
Nah, this is the first time I got caught, though.
This brother is in the theater watching a movie, smoking a blunt. He's talking about this the first time he got caught. He been doing that like three years, going into the theater, watching a movie, smoking a blunt, and getting high. And the officer is saying they don't even allow vaping in there. Let me keep playing.
Okay, well, yeah, you got caught, bro. That's bad, yeah. We gotta have you to go, though, so, yeah. That's crazy. You must be sneaky at it, because...
He said, I've been doing this for about 3 years, though. He said, you must be sneaky. You like, hell yeah. This video, on the original video, it was talking about how cool he was, how cool the officer was about this whole situation. Like the officer wasn't really tripping. He was, having a good discourse with him. It was calm and collective.
You gotta be good at like this.
Yeah, it's not today.
Being a whole hour, like, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if you smoke a blunt outside, that's cool, but like in the theater is a big no-no, bro. Like that's a fire hazard, you know what I mean? Like,
nah, it's not a fire hazard, bro.
it is, and we have a big rule right there of no smoking too. So, yeah,
I've been doing it for 30 years, bro.
I know you've been doing good at it. So,
Like, that's the crazy.
I can't believe you smoking a whole blunt. That's fucking crazy.
How the hell y'all just not catching me, bro?
You're pretty good at it, then I guess. If at this theater, at this one, damn. I guess someone brought it up to our attention. That's why.
Who?
I don't know. Someone. I mean, I smelt it as soon as I walked in. So,
Somebody brought it up.
yeah, someone snitched on you. So, yeah, what are these kids doing? But yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. But somebody snitched. Yeah, yeah.
Who was it?
I don't know, bro. I'm just walking. I don't know what seat or row, bro. So, and even if I did, I couldn't tell you. Like, I'm just walking up. No, I can't do that. I don't know who it is, bro. If I'm being honest with you, I'm being honest with you, bro. So, you have a good one though. Be safe. You too.
Like the brother asked, could he come back in and watch the movie? He was like, nah. Overall, okay, you don't expect something like this to happen, right? Where a person get walked out. Usually they might try to at least write them a ticket or something instead of just walking them out with the blunt. Anybody that ever smoked weed know, like, if you're in a closed space like a theater, everybody's going to smell it. And he seemed so surprised and all of that. He's like, I've been doing it for, I've been doing this for 3 years. I ain't never got caught. Shows you that he knows that it is wrong. Like he shouldn't be doing it. But the point I wanted to make about this is that how much of addicts, Black people can be, we can be. Now, I used to smoke weed, so I know. And when I think about how I used to think, I actually would not see nothing wrong with this. I would say, you know what? If he can get away with it, he can get away with it. You know, what's wrong with it? You know what I mean? But that mentality is not a sober mentality. It's not clear thinking. You know what I mean? There's a metric, there's a statistic, and I wish I could pull it up right now. I do have it somewhere where it shows you the most addictive drugs. The people are getting more addicted to weed than cocaine and fentanyl right now. The level of people getting hooked on weed. And I know in society, especially now, especially out here in California, they always have pushed it like it's nothing, not a big deal. But when I think about the way I used to move and the people that was around me, most people couldn't go to sleep without getting high. They couldn't get up and start their day without getting high. They couldn't be around other people in a setting where you have a lot of people, say like a birthday party or a holiday where you're going to be around a lot of family, or a family reunion. They couldn't do that without getting high. You always got the cousins and the people that want to slide off to the side to get high, right? And the fact that you can't just sit down and watch and enjoy a movie without smoking a blunt is crazy. It shows that you have an addiction. Now, once again, society says it's a recreational drug, but science shows and just common sense shows that people are at least addicted in their brain, in their mind. They're at least addicted, you know what I mean, in their mind, and thinking that they need it in order to have a good day. They need it in order to have an appetite. They need it. And we're talking about people that don't have physical problems. Like, there are people with real physical problems that really, if they went to a doctor, they would be diagnosed, they would be prescribed, THC or something to help with the pain, or some type of cancer or something like that. But I'm talking about everyday Black people. That's what I'm talking about, that are addicted to weed. It is damn near normalizing right now. Another thing on the rise is those vapes. Them vapes is crazy. There was a doctor saying that, they get a lot of people that come into the hospital because they've been vaping, and it messes up your lungs. It's going to shorten your life, coming straight from a doctor. You know what I mean? But it just shows you that we are addicted to these things. And I'll go even deeper. When you look at the fact that through science, through studies, they have showed that Black people, the trauma that our ancestors went through has been passed down on a genetic level, to the point where it changed the DNA. You can go and look this up. They did it on Jewish people who went through the Holocaust. Their DNA changed through the offspring. So I'm just saying, if Jewish people, the Holocaust was 12 years or something like that? If that happened with them, think about 400 years with Black people, that couldn't happen with us. The sister, Dr. Joyce DeGruy, she wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome that illustrates this in our behaviors. Point I'm making is that we are a perfect people, our laboratory experiment to get hooked on some type of drug. It's easy for us to get hooked on some type of drug because of things like anxiety and depression and, feeling hopeless. It's easy for us to get hooked on something, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's weed, whatever the drug may be. Okay. And so this leads me to the other thing. You can't call yourself pro-Black, or that term is getting a little cliche, but you can't say that you love your people and you for the betterment of your people are pro-Black if you do drugs. You cannot be pro-Black and pro-drugs. You just cannot do it. You cannot be, I'm gonna say it again, you cannot be pro-Black and pro-drugs. You can't be a person that says, yeah, I'm Black this, I'm Blackity Black this, I'm Black this, but you get high, but you smoke cigarettes, but you're okay with people selling drugs in the Black community. They don't go together. It's like oil and water. You're destroying yourself. You're destroying your community. You cannot be pro-Black and pro-drugs because historically, drugs have been used to destroy the Black community. Also, historically, they've been used and engineered to be put in our communities to further destroy us. Drugs have been, drugs have destroyed organizations in the Black community, drug dealing, drug using. So you can't say, I want to see my people become better. I want to see my people become mentally healthier. I want to see my people start to love one another and work together. You can't say those things and be for the use of drugs in the community, getting high and selling drugs. It just don't mix. But that's how we've been programmed. You get a lot of these conscious people that are drug addicts. A lot of these Black conscious people are drug addicts. A lot of y'all are. You are. And you can't call yourself a real leader and be pro-Black and want to see your people do better if you are participating in that. Are you okay with it going on? Are you one of those people like hands off to each his own? Are you one of those people that say, I ain't got no opinion on this. I'm not hopping in this one. I'm going to stand down on this. I'm going to stand down on the drug issue in the Black community. Like Black people standing down on seeing Mexican people get raided by ICE. Yeah, I'm going to stand down on on that conversation about I can't be pro-Black and pro-drugs. You know why? Because a lot of our people are drug addicts. That's just what it is. That's it. That's all. You know what I mean? Let me get to this last story. Now, this is Ananda Lewis. Ananda Lewis, who was the MTV VJ, when we was coming up, she was always on MTV. That's what I remember her from. Well, she passed away recently from battling cancer. And I seen a lesson in her story that, I see that similarity with a lot of us in the Black community of things that we don't do, that we should do. Okay, let me get the video. Let me drop this. I know I went late tonight, y'all, so I was on nigga time, right? Black people time.
Shared her news with the world on a surprising Instagram post. Take a look.
I am sharing this with you today because it's the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I have been fighting to get cancer out of my body for almost 2 years.
Ananda Lewis joins me now. Ananda, I've been thinking about you so much since that post, the outpouring of love that you received. How are you doing?
That's so much. Let me just go back and say thank you so much, Tamron. I'm so happy to be here with you. And wow, your intro brought back so many memories. My mind is flooded now, but thank you so much for having me. The reason I shared that post really had nothing to do with me at all. I feel like I've been walking on a path and I stepped on tacks. Mm-hmm. And it was my responsibility to tell the people around me and behind me, hey, look out, there's some tacks up here, so you don't step on them too. And so it was difficult for me to do because I have been so private about this for so long and so effectively. But I knew it was time. It was on my heart, and I had to do it. So I have felt
part
amazing.
of what you have learned on this journey, you witnessed with your own mother.
Yes, I did. I saw my mom, like I said in my post, get mammogrammed, like we're told to do, exactly as she was directed. She did the work. She did what her job was. And at the end of that, she had breast cancer. She went through a very rigorous attack of it. She went through total standard care and survived it. I went through that with her and saw the full chemo and saw the surgeries and saw the struggle.
We do know that there are things that can help us on this journey, like a mammogram.
Learning that too.
We've learned that. And you are now more open about your decision to postpone getting a mammogram and what you've learned since then. What is that message?
Well, I felt like those were the tacks. If I had been very clear that getting the mammogram when I was instructed to, when I turned 40, when I was supposed to, especially because my mom had gone through this, I had higher potential for going through it myself. I still would have felt how I felt about the radiation, which is what kept me from it. But I would have understood better that a little bit of bad beats a whole lot of bad.
And what
so
you mean by that?
So what the sister is saying is that her mother had cancer too, and she had to look at her mother and see how her mother reacted to the chemotherapy and everything like that. And so she didn't really want to go through that. And when she was told when she was 40, I believe she was 52 when she just passed away a few days ago. But at 40 years old, the doctors told her to get a mammogram, but she didn't want to do it because of what she's seen her mother go through with cancer. Okay, let me get another video. I thought I had it already in the queue where she actually goes in and just says flat out.
Who rose to fame as an MTV.
Let me see. Scrub through here.
And up until the end, had regrets that she didn't take action sooner.
Were you good about getting your mammogram?
You know I wasn't.
We spoke to Ananda last October.
Had I taken advantage of early detection and this was caught earlier, I would have had an outcome like my sister. She caught hers at stage 1. They did a little lumpectomy. She did some pills for 5 years. She's great.
By the time Ananda's cancer.
So you heard that her sister did what she was supposed to do. And after 5 years, she was great. Before I go into what I'm going to go into about this, I just want to say, like, this sister was absolutely beautiful. And I used to think that she was a sister to the sister on Fresh Prince, the younger sister. I used to think they were related. I guess they wasn't related, right? But like I said, we grew up seeing her on MTV, Ananda Lewis. And then, you know, she just disappeared. She also has a young son. I think he might be around 13 or 14 years old that she left behind with her husband, who is Will Smith's brother. Okay. But he's not somebody that's in the limelight like that. What I was going to say is that you see that she disregarded doing what she was supposed to do as far as going to the doctor. And let me just get this scripture real quick. It's Ecclesiasticus 38:1. It says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him, which means to honor a doctor, because at the end of the day, you don't know everything that is going on with you in your body. You don't know everything, and you are not a doctor. You have people that grew up wanting to be a doctor. They went to school for that amount of years, and they are a professional at finding certain things. What you find with us in the Black community is that we're afraid to go to the doctor. We're afraid to get a checkup. We're afraid to, you know, check on things. We would rather try to self-medicate, and we would rather try to do something a different kind of way. Like with Ananda Lewis, she was trying to do a self-healing type of thing by, you know, using herbs and things of that nature, like a Dr. Sebi type of thing, which you see a lot of Black people will opt to try to do that, right? Alternative to what, you know, she would have had to go through if she would have went through chemotherapy. And so with Black people, you see that a lot of times where, you know, in a lot of cases, we don't want to go to the doctor. And I understand, like, in just with the history, you know, the history of the medical profession with Black people, you know, the story that came out that said Black women that are pregnant, that go under the knife, they are, 4 times more likely to die under the knife compared to white women when they're, you know. So there's a lot of concerns, of course, and fears that you may have when you go to the doctor. But like I said, you can't Google and try to, you know, buy supplements offline to try to fix whatever it is. You have to go to the doctor, no matter what it is. At least you can have a peace of mind in your head, like, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I got to do. This sister neglected to do that. And now she's no longer here. You know what I'm saying? Think about that for a minute. What happened with her could have been preventable. You know, we all been there where, you know, we don't want to go to the doctor, or we thinking like, oh man, what they gonna say? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But suck it up and just go. You know what I mean? Suck it up and take your ass to the doctor. That's the learning lesson with Ananda Lewis right now. And this is not to uh throw dirt on her or down talk her, this sister right here, not at all. But because she came out, we wouldn't know these things if she didn't come out and say it. And she came out and admitted it. She said she had did what she was supposed to do, like, you know, her mother and like her sister, she would still be here. You know what I mean? So this is something that everybody can learn from, but especially Black people, which we struggle a lot of times with going to the doctor and, you know, just being responsible in that way as far as our health. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to bring out about that story. May that sister rise again. She has a son. She was a beautiful, talented sister, and we can all learn from her story because she should still be here. You know, so with that, you know what I'm saying? That's about it. I rocked it out for an hour. I didn't go live like I usually do. We don't have a Black Authentic Truth story, but I do have some history, okay? I think I can pull up a little bit of history real quick before we get up out of here. Now, you know, I was talking about Black and brown relationships and how, you know, Black people say Mexicans are racist and vice versa, right? And there's this racial tension. And I would just say, and I think I want to save it for where I actually talk about it, but I would just say where I grew up at in San Bernardino, the hub of IE, the Inland Empire, right? You don't really see negative interactions with Black and brown unless it's gang related. I know in LA is similar. If you're from certain hoods, that's where the tension arises. Also, being locked up in prison, you have the politics. That's where the tension arises. I can actually say that the most hospitable people that I've been treated with the most hospitality, and it was in, you know, Mexican households. I'm just gonna say that, like, just the level of hospitality is just amazing and out of this world. I'm saying that to say this. There's a statue in the Natural History Museum in New York. I was there years back and got some pictures, but it's a nice museum. It has a lot of stuff from Egypt, Mayan heads and all of that, Olmec heads. But let me pull this image up, and I'll end with this. Now, this statue is called, it's the Roosevelt Equestrian statue. And it what it says is it talks about it's a symbol of President Roosevelt's, you know, his safaris in Africa and him going different places on horseback and, you know, trekking the world. But the image is clear, you know. Where we at? So this is the equestrian statue. All right. This is Roosevelt, and on one side he has a Native American Indian, on the other side he has a Black man. What they say it symbolizes, I don't believe it symbolizes. I believe it symbolizes the conquering of the Black and brown races, the indigenous groups. Okay. And getting back to what I was saying about what I wanted to go into was that there's a common denominator in the hate. Like what profit is it to Mexicans to hate Black people or Black people to hate Mexicans? Who profits the most? There's a common denominator in all of that. There's an origin where this racism, this racial bigotry comes from. And who will profit from that? That's one question. The second question is, who would not profit from it? if black and brown people came together and got along? Who would not profit from that? I mean, the answer is in the equation, in the questions. But with that, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. Thank y'all for rocking with me as always. My main ones, let me give y'all a shout out real quick. I appreciate you, Martina, for being up in here. Carl Maz, Renee all the time, Deandra all the time, Ron Coleman all the time, Black Rain 3 all the time, Trooper Anakwadam all the time, Brilliance Wins all the time, Renee Gaines. Appreciate y'all. All right, and I'll see y'all sometime next week. Have some fire to bring some good history. All right. With that, y'all have a good evening, night. This is Black Authentic Truth. Peace.
you.